Hi, Maisha.
Hi. Oh, my
How
son.
are you?
How are you?
I'm so great. It's so good to see you. It's been so many years.
You look great. So thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
You're like my first few, you were from my first few, one of these clients.
Yes, it's been a long time. Our baby will turn 12 in April.
Wow. Wow. Such a big girl.
Yeah, that's a big girl.
Little lady. So how are you? How have you been?
We've been well. There have been some snags. Unfortunately, Xiomara's father did pass away
So
last
sorry.
year. Yeah, it was quite hard. He was struggling with some medical ailments,
Mm.
but yeah, it was still a shock.
Wow.
He was 46.
So sorry. Oh my
Yeah, so it was really hard. I mean, we were co-parenting, we weren't together any longer,
God.
but it did not lessen the blow in any way, for myself or for Xiomara especially.
Mhm.
He was an attentive and phenomenal father.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
a better co-parent I could not have asked for.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
Oh,
So just dealing with the ramifications of that, unfortunately.
yeah.
But otherwise, she's holding strong and doing wonderfully in school. She goes to a private institution, De La Salle Academy, over there on 43rd Street
Yeah.
in the city. And she's rocking it out, sixth grade.
Good. Oh.
Yeah, I know it hurts. It
Oh,
hurts.
yeah, man. He was a sweetheart too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was too happy to have her come into this world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, hon.
it's okay.
Wow. Well, you're strong. I know how strong you are. Super and beautiful. A great parent.
Yes, yes.
All right. So I will start with the first question. Before you had your first birth, and maybe even before you were pregnant or while you were pregnant, what were your ideas of birth? Like, how did you see it?
So, my experience with birth prior to becoming pregnant was very mediaized, very influenced by media and or family members' tellings, old wives' tales, if you will. Just an expectation of pain,
Mhm.
not enjoyable.
Right.
One of the most traumatic experiences you could possibly imagine. So there was an innate fear becoming pregnant. Though I was happy to be pregnant and bring life into this world, I was terrified of everything I had heard about, just
Mhm.
the expectation and the lack of choices. Like, there was no option for me in my head. It was supposed to be in a hospital, and it was supposed to be done by a provider, and there was just nothing that I could really say or do about it in my head.
Mhm.
Um, but thankfully, I believe that the universe, God
Mhm.
pointed me in the direction I needed to go. There were a lot of snags with insurance for me. I was uninsured when I was pregnant,
Mhm.
and then I tried to get insurance during my pregnancy, and it was the most
Oh.
complicated thing,
Mhm.
unnecessarily.
Mhm.
I had to go and get tested for my pregnancy multiple times at every single clinic that I wanted to go to try to get insurance. And I'd be like, why are you testing me for pregnancy if I'm showing you 2 and 3 and 4 different tests at that time, because I'd gone to like 4 or 5, that I'm pregnant? I know I'm pregnant. They're
Mhm.
like, no, but we have to do it. I'm like, okay, fine. I have no more pee to give you. But yeah, that was kind of my expectation. And thankfully, in meeting well, thankfully in getting into the program to meet you, a lot of my old wives' tales and my expectations were thwarted and
Mhm.
alleviated. Just,
Right,
thankfully finding that program, that first time parent program,
right,
and being able to work with you.
right. So if you want to just explain that, like, what was that program and how did it look and how did it work?
So we finally got our insurance through Beth Israel,
Mm.
through a clinic called the Institute of Family Health.
Right.
I remember we used to
That
go
was
to
a great
Union Square.
place. That was a great
That
place.
that is a great place. I don't think that that particular clinic is open
Yeah.
any longer, but the
Mhm.
Institute of Family Health still thrives. They have a location in Harlem, but I don't know if the program sadly is open anymore. I hope it is, but I haven't heard
Right,
things.
right,
They were sticklers about them being first time parents and first time moms. You know, Actually, no, I take that back. I remember there were some second and third time moms too.
okay.
It just was mainly geared towards first time parents.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, the program was something that I was able to be a part of because finally Family Institute was able to support me in getting the insurance that I needed and the care. They were part of the reason why I was able to get my first ultrasound. I think at like 3 months finally. My
Great.
first ultrasound at 3 months. I was like, I just want to see this thing
Uh-huh.
that's growing, please. So that was exciting. And they put me in the program, and I want to say 2 weeks,
Mhm.
or every 2 to 3 weeks, we would go. We would sit in a circle, very kumbaya-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was great. We would have discussions. Like I said, there were second and third time moms. I remember because I remember they would tell their stories about their first children and things
Great.
of that nature. We would talk about our expectations and our fears. How the partners, if they were present, mine always was, would be able to support us, and be a part of it. They're having their own experience along with us. So then they spoke about doulas, and that was the first time I ever heard of that word,
Mhm.
that position. I was like, what in the heck is a doula?
Mhm.
And they explained it, and naturally a lot of people who are slightly familiar with doulas, much more than I would have been, believe that they're a replacement for a partner,
Mhm.
or some sort of overly holistic, completely against Western medicine, situation. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It's just this complete package of support and education, whether it be for going towards Western medicine or going a more holistic approach, considering options,
Mhm.
having options. What a
Yeah,
concept, what an idea.
yeah.
So I was thrilled because first of all, not only were they introducing us to multiple doulas, not just yourself, but they were also supporting us with either a discounted or completely free package of
Mhm.
having you all be included with our birth plan.
Mhm.
Whereas, if you want to go on your own to locate a doula, 9 times out of 10, you are paying out of pocket.
Mhm.
Not that the cost is anything compared to, a regular schmegular birth without insurance at all, but it can incur a cost,
It's a lot.
and you have to budget for it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's an investment towards your sanity and your safe space, in my opinion.
Mhm. So then we met. So they would have groups where the parents would all come in and you had like a prenatal, but it was in a group, which was cool. And there are places that still have that. And then
Yeah.
I would come and a few of us would come and we would talk and everything, right? And present ourselves. And afterwards, I guess we would get picked, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was very, very bachelor, very
Yeah,
pregnant
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bachelorish.
Like, hi.
Yes. Yeah. So I gave you my rose.
Uh, all right.
Yes, we just really, really loved your energy, and
Mhm.
just the way that you explained things was just so effervescent, and it was just so seamless. I did not like, a lot of jargon, especially at the time. I was like, please don't give me medical terms. I need it all layman's. I need
Yeah.
simplicity.
Yeah,
I'm growing a toe. I don't need difficulties.
for sure.
Yes.
Definitely.
So it was just great.
Beautiful. And then, so how pregnant were you when the two of us met? I forget.
Oh man, because again, I got my insurance so late in the
Right.
game. I think we had started when I was about, I want to say 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say like half-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, 5, almost 6 months.
Yeah, probably pretty close to it. Right.
Yeah, pretty late in the game. 5 or almost 6 months, and then we had a few months because we were meeting once every, I want to say, 3 to 5 weeks, and then
Mhm.
we would get closer
Right.
to my term day, and yeah, that's when we were meeting every week.
So then the big day comes. Bring us back to that day. What were your first signs that things were starting?
So I gave birth April 21st. So about April, we'll say 18th or rather 19th, because
Mhm.
I was a night owl, still am.
Mhm.
And it had to be anywhere from 11 to 12 something in the morning. And Edgar's playing video games, and I'm laying down watching TV. And while I'm laying down, I see a pool form in my thighs, and I got no thigh gap. So the little pool is like a little collection. And I'm like, did I pee myself? Which unfortunately, as a pregnant woman,
Mhm.
could happen.
Good. It
But
happened.
it
Right.
was just a lot. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So I go to the restroom and I kind of clean myself up. And then when I utilize the restroom while I'm there, I happen to see the mucus plug,
Yeah.
which was a very telltale sign. I heard it from you, I heard it
Yeah.
from multiple providers. Look for that little mucus plug. And once that I saw that, it was like my body and my mind all came in sync, and they're like, it's go time. And I started to feel the contractions, and I was like, okay, well, this is happening, and
Mhm.
let's see how it goes. It's kind of the middle of the night. Let me not bother my Aisha quite yet. Let's see how it goes. And it was pretty calm, you know,
Mhm.
for the majority, I want to say a few hours. We'll
Yeah.
say about until 3, 4 a.m. Around 5 a.m., the contractions started to really crank. And I
Mhm.
was on my birthing ball. You remember my fun gray birthing ball that I was hopping on like a little kangaroo. And I was like, okay, Edgar, it's time to call my Aisha because these hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Please call her. I wanted to let her sleep, but no more sleep for her. Please get her here. And he was like, okay, fine, time for my Aisha time. So then we were able to call you in, and I think that was the full 19th.
Mhm.
Yes, or 20th. And then you were with us pretty much all day.
Mhm.
I was in contraction mode. We were moving around on the bed. I was doing the ball. You were feeding me with the bananas and the peanut butter, because I really needed to eat and just keep my energy up. It was not painful so much as it was just, okay, this is happening and this is discomforting and I'm uncomfortable. Okay, I'm not uncomfortable anymore. And you were supporting Edgar and myself, and, just showing us how to be together and, embrace each other in such a, just exciting but like scary time. And it was good. We did the hug. He was doing the massage on the lower back, which was so alleviating.
Mhm.
And my favorite part, which I still have photos of, is the walk. We took a walk to the park. It was
Mhm.
like far,
Uh-huh.
and we went on the swings. And I love to show people that picture of me,
Uh-huh.
being pushed by Edgar while I'm like
And
fully in labor.
yeah.
It's my favorite picture.
Aw.
Yeah, I love that picture. You took that picture for me.
Aw.
We were just big old kids getting ready to bring a tiny little kid in the world. And it was phenomenal. I love that photo. It's my favorite, because that walk was needed. That walk was, it was something that was moving me, moving, the baby, and just alleviating those contractions. And I would never have thought to do any of that by myself. It's just not something that you think about when you're in labor. You think, let me call 911 and get to the hospital. Right. But I would have been 3 days in labor in the hospital, and that would not have been comfortable. Instead, I got to be in labor a solid, day and a half at home. Yeah. In the comfort of my home, and with you and with Edgar, and eating bananas with peanut butter, drinking some Gatorade that was low in sugar. It was perfect. But I think we finally pulled the cord, I think, that evening. And Edgar had called his friend, and we got a ride to Beth Israel on 14th Street. And that was late at night. Yeah. And then we made the plan, and we're a little devious, and we told the nurses a little white lie. Right. Because they had asked me, how long have you been in labor? And I was like, a few hours. Yeah. Because otherwise they would have injected me with a bunch of groovy pills that I did not want. It was not part of my birth plan, at least not right away. Now, if they would have done my vitals, which you were doing the entire day and a half, and they would have seen something was wrong, which they obviously didn't, because you were doing it the whole time and you knew nothing was really wrong, then it would have been different. They had every right to have given me medication to kind of speed the process along. But we were going at a natural pace, and it was comfortable and comforting to just know that, excuse me, Xiomara was fine and I was fine. So let's let it take its natural course. If it takes 3 days, it takes 3 days. Yeah. So we were 6 centimeters dilated when we arrived. And though it was a lot, and they thought it was a lot for how long we were in labor, I thought to myself, I was like, only 6? It's been a day and a half. So we did the doctor thing and signed ourselves up, and I got my gown, and thankfully they gave us a room that was just us, which I'm still super thankful for. But I think that excuse me, my throat is dry. I think that just I'm getting tongue tied. That's just something positive about Beth Israel as a hospital.
Well, when you give birth, you have a private room. It's partner rooms that are at times get split.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. When they were showing us the tour, they were saying something, and I guess I registered it differently. Yeah. So we had our own room, so I was happy about that. I had my my iPod, and we strapped that to the bed. And we brought my ball, or did they have their own ball? There was a birthing ball in the room.
Probably had one, yeah.
There was a birthing ball in the room, and then we got it going, and that was, I want to say, another almost full day. Because we were, something about being in the hospital, I don't know why, but the dilation took so much, or it felt slower.
It slows down. Yeah.
It felt slower when just in that environment. And I did the little walk with my little IV pole, and it's just not the same. Yeah. It's just not the same. And thankfully you were there with me. You were advocating for me, for Edgar. I do have a rowdy family, and they were present. My dear old mama and herself, and she was not a fan of the way that we had planned things with you there, and what have you. But she dealt because she had to, and you were there to support me with that explanation when I was trying to breathe and not get into an argument with my mother in labor, and feeling contractions every 5 minutes. So that was ideal and phenomenal. Um, yeah, just supporting Edgar, reminding him he needed to eat, reminding him he's a human being, go to the bathroom, because he was extremely attentive and there and supportive. But, it's just he lost sight and track of his own
It was
body.
a lot of hours and he was tired. We all were tired, especially you, of course. We're all tired.
Yes, yes. I'll never forget that he did tell me, he was like, "You are so nice to Maisha, and then you were cranky with me." I feel like, well, Maisha didn't put me in my position.
Right?
So, I'll never forget that. But it's part of the program, because you're there to mediate, you're there to kind of like gauge, feelings and just be a support. If I'm snapping at him and being cranky, you're like, okay, Edgar, maybe it's time to go to the bathroom. Maybe you gotta go get a sandwich, you could be here, but like maybe not right now.
Yeah.
So that was good. I think it was great. And then of course things took, as they tend to do, a bit of a turn. My blood pressure went crazy high.
Yep.
And then they were like, epidural. And I was like, I don't want it. And they were like, Pitocin. I was like, I don't want that either. So after fighting them and getting my way for the better part of, I want to say, hours, I finally gave in, and we did the epidural. And then do you remember the groovy Code Orange, where they stopped my epidural, Maisha, in my spine, left me, and then had to come back? I called you so fast. I was like, no, they did not just put this freaking needle in my spine and then have to leave. And then now they want to come back and do it.
Oh my God.
You went and you tore into them. You were like, if you don't get somebody come back here now and finish this stupid epidural, she's not going to have it.
Yeah.
And then no sooner did they come back, finish the epidural, within 2 or 3 little drops of a drip, I was pushing.
Yep.
So I felt everything anyway.
Yeah.
I was so cranky.
Yep.
But it all came out, peaches and cream. The little girl came out beautiful and perfect, looking like her perfect alien self. Yes. And she, was laid right on me like I wanted, like we asked. And, all other things were made, right. And I know that most of the things that were in my plan were made right through you and your support.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
I forgot about the park, but yeah, the park and the swing. I feel like I used to do a lot more parks. Yeah. I haven't had park time in a while. I'll have to incorporate it again.
It was such a memory. It's such a core memory for me. And just having that photo and being able to tell people, you see this? I was in labor. My doula took this photo.
Well, you had time. I was like, we got time. Let's find an activity.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a distraction, and it was a memory, and it was a moment, and it was helpful. It took me off of my contractions, and you were still counting them. You were still there supporting me and still being that medical, person there to just kind of bring me back to, hey, by the way, you're in labor. I mean, have fun, but you are in labor. So are you feeling contractions? Yes. Okay, good. And then you were touching my wrist, and you were checking my blood pressure, all the things that they would have done in a hospital.
I checked your blood pressure.
You check stuff. I don't, maybe not blood pressure, but just maybe like just to make sure I was okay.
Yeah, make sure you still feel the make sure like the fluid's clear, all those things.
Yes.
Yeah, and then and just like temperature, I'll just like touch a mom because make sure she's not hot, because if you have, like in your case where you have a bag breaks early, we're concerned about temperature, so I'll just like make sure she's not hot.
Yeah.
Like, don't start
So
to.
every now and again you would touch me. I didn't know if it was to check my
Yeah,
blood
okay.
pressure or my temperature, but you were checking me.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. I'm glad it all worked out. Yeah, it was hairy at the end. Your blood pressure, oh my gosh, it was high, high, high. Yeah.
Very, very sky high. I think we were dancing on high 200s.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like,
They
come on,
they were
baby.
they were threatening me with magnesium, and they ended up giving me magnesium post birth. But you know, things that I was totally fine with. The mantra for me was, how's the baby?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Miss Rivera, but your blood pressure, but how's the baby? The baby's fine. I was like, okay, then I don't want the medicine. But if I had to give in, I had to give in, because they were like, no, because if we give you magnesium now, the baby's gonna get the magnesium. I said, oh, okay, fine, give me the medicine.
You did
So
great. You did so great. It was long and hard, and you were like beautiful and graceful and strong in it. And yeah, held
yeah,
your own and had your baby
I had my baby. I had my baby. And I had a lot of fears about that. When we would first have our conversations, during the pregnancy, I would express to you, I'm like, what if I can't have this baby? You're gonna be like, she's gonna come no matter what. She's
Yep.
coming. She's
They
gonna
all
come
come
no
out.
matter
They
what.
all come out. No matter what, they all come out.
They all come out one way or another.
One way or the other, they're all gonna come out.
Mm-hmm. And you were right. She came out.
So, like, my last question, you basically explained it. Like, what does a doula do? But you pretty much explained the whole thing. But is it?
Well, a summary
Yeah.
is just a guidance, a support, a friend, a medical provider, or a medical supporter. Doulas for me should be, if not mandatory, heavily suggested and incorporated in birth,
Right.
because I just can't, I can't have imagined how tumultuous that birth would have been without you. To be in a hospital for however long, I definitely can foresee that they would have definitely rushed me into a cesarean situation. Not that would have been negatively impacted for Xiomara per se, but for me as a mother, as a person, yes, it would have, when I could have had a natural birth, and I obviously did.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like too often times are people rushed into a situation that could have been avoided. There's nothing, and I strain this so often because my sister is a cesarean birth mother, and she is the perfect mother in my opinion. She had her babies after me, and she's so much more a warrior for having gone through that process, that emergency need. But she was an emergency need. She did have other complications, but I didn't have complications. My body just went its own slow little way. And that's okay. It really was okay, because at the end of the day, Xiomara was made all the more perfect for it. So I know for a fact, without your support and without your guidance and without our tiny little trickery, we definitely would have had a different outcome. Yeah. And I mean, not as far as not having Xiomara, but as far as me not having, the stories I get to tell. No park, no banana eating, it would have just been white walls, operating room, and ow, all these additional weeks of recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. Thank
So, anything else you'd like to tell people who are new doulas? Like, what do you want them to know and learn?
you. For new doulas, I would say just go in with a sense of combating the fear, combating the doubt, and in the most gentle and delicate way, because new moms are paranoid. We are just scared little meerkats, and
Course.
we have to be coerced out of our holes
Mhm.
and out of our over mediaized, you know, because the media will portray this horrifying display of what a birth is without questioning it,
Yeah,
without options.
yeah.
And a doula's perspective, a doula's insight rather, is to provide moms and partners with a sense of, you can do this, you are safe,
Mhm.
you are going to be listened to, and you are going to have this baby, and we will make it work
Mhm.
through the power of education and through the power of, just working with what you have. And you have a capable and awesome body. And let me train you and show you to see that how capable and awesome your body can be.
Mhm.
Because as moms, yes, we know we're growing a life, but we don't know exactly yet how
Out.
tiring and exciting and wild bringing that life into the world is, until we start. And then it's like, ah, and a doula is there to calm the ah.
Yes, yes. It's
So
awesome.
that's what you did for me.
Thank you. That
Thank
was great.
you.
You hit all the points. You hit all the points. That was a great time to just think about her birth again. Thank you.
Thank you. She is my everything. She is what kept Edgar with us for at least 46 years. I can say that with all honesty.
Yeah. Yeah.
He definitely would not have gone as long as he did if
Mhm.
you did not help bring her here.
Aw, well, you did all the work. I was just hanging out.
Yeah, but you held my hand.
Hard work, but yeah, yeah, yeah. It was fun. Beautiful.
Yes, yes. Oh, you cried for me. I remember that.
Did I don't remember, but
You
okay.
cried for me.
I
You were
did.
like, I was like, so rarely I cry.
I
I was
did
like,
cry
oh
a lot. Yeah, but yeah.
no.
I guess because it was so hard and long. And
It was
when
long.
it's long, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you I'm concerned,
No, of course.
but I'm concerned. So then
Yeah.
when it all works out, I'm like, thank God. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think I had you a little stressed as well as my provider with my blood pressure.
I remember like looking at you, looking at the screen, looking at you, look, it was like, gotta get the baby out before that goes any higher. I was like,
For
like,
sure.
yeah.
Good times.
Well, yeah. It was so great to see you.
It was so great to see you too, and send my love to the family. We
You-
still put up your Christmas card every year.
My God, that's so sweet. I haven't done a card in a million years because I'm grown now.
Yeah, you have grown little men.
Yeah, they're 24 and 22.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I don't even think about a Christmas card, but
You should just slam them in a chair and just take pictures.
well, we're not in the same place at the same time anymore. But
That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
yeah.
Oh,
Right, big hugs.
big hugs.
Thank you so much for participating.
Always for you.
Say hi to my honey little girl for me, little big girl for me.
I absolutely will.
Thank you so much, honey.
No worries. Have the very best night.
You too. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.